In this video, we're going to look at test data in eFORMz. The Test Data tab in the Form Properties allows you, the user, to specify a constant value which will act as sample data for a given variable. So in other words, if you just kind of want to test some things out and on your form, then you can use test data. So I have here just a new project I added, just added a project, just a blank page and a blank form. And I'm going to right click my project and select Display Forms and Data. So you can display data from two sources. From file, which is the predominant way of doing things. And of course this is when you're up and running in production, you're going to want to have it from file. But there are some instances where you'll want to use test data. And there are a couple. One of them is if you just want to test things out, obviously, hence the name. But another reason might be if you are using a project to output to another project. For example, let's say that you have one project that specifically is used for an SQL query and it's retrieving information. Or let's say you're calling a web service, a get verb or a get web service, and you're retrieving information from a web call. You'll be using test data. Maybe you're using a record element where you're outputting XML data. You might use test data in that scenario. So there are a couple different places where you'll want to use test data, but one really good way, and the most common way, is if you just want to kind of test to see how your form looks, or you want to just test some variables out, you can just select test data and select OK. And of course here it's nothing showing because it's just a blank form. But to give you an idea of this, I'm going to create a variable by right-clicking my form and selecting Add Variable and by position, and I'll just select OK. And if I go to my blank form here and right-click it and select Properties and Test Data, this is the Test Data tab of the Form Properties, you'll see it'll allow me to enter a constant value for variable 1. So let's go ahead and just enter test and select OK. And we'll see in the variables window here that test is right there. So we've changed the value. And if I right-click in the Form and Data Viewer in the second pane here and select Add Rule and Place Text and select the variable and select OK, and we'll select OK again, it'll place it. So you can kind of set the value of the variables you have and kind of mock things up. So let's say you had a whole form here and you wanted to place a bunch of mock information and send it to the printer to see how it looks. Well, you can certainly do that with test data.